The Lord is going to put us back in our land, man, through Yahweh Shai. We're going to be sovereign. We're going to rule. We're going to win. We're going to have everything in abundance, man.
Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Sell that ye have, and give alms. Provide yourselves bags which wax not old, a treasure in the heavens that faileth not, where no thief approacheth, neither moth corrupteth. Away your treasure is. There we are heart.
Of Israel, the tabernacle of David. When you look up this word, keys, I will give unto thee the keys of the kingdom. When you go to that word keys, that keys to the kingdom is the key of David, the tabernacle of David, the government, authority. But when you go to the word for keys, it says what? Kleis. It says, since the keeper of the keys has the power to open and shut, meaning the Lord is going to give us dominion, right? He's going to give us judgment. And it says metaphorically in the New Testament to denote power and authority of various kinds. This wisdom is going to lead to us receiving the kingdom, which is authority above, the authority that the Most High Yahweh gave Yahweh Shai. We're going to have that authority, 144, Lord willing, with that number. But it's authority of various kinds, authority over the resources, authority over the healing, authority over, you can implement judgment. You're going to be able to create and manipulate the elements to create things. You're going to be a God on earth. Basically, that's the power that 144 is going to have. Not even all Israel going to be on the level of the 144. But yeah, that key, that was given to Peter, was the head of the church. We fall into that order. That's David. The tabernacle of David will receive all various kinds of power, and the gates of hell will not prevail, against us. But yeah, the key of David, see Revelation 1:18, I am him that liveth and was dead. He conquered death. He's the firstborn of the dead. First one of the sons of God. He is the Son of God. He conquered death and went back to the right-hand side. Now we're seeking to conquer death and get our glory back. It says, I am he that liveth and was dead, and behold, I am alive evermore. Amen. I have the keys of hell and death, meaning judgment. Judgment is given into the hands of Yahweh Shai. And we're going to have that power. And say we're going to be able to create plagues on the earth. Like we're going to be a government. Like the government is the government of the whole earth. So the keys that were given unto Peter, which is the key of David, is authority. Power over the nations, everything, bro. So, the scriptures say here, Zechariah 12, it says, in that day Yahweh shall defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem. We're going to be New Jerusalem. And he that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David, and the house of David shall be as God, as the angel of the Lord before them. So we're going to take the same form as Yahweh Shai. We're going to be joint heirs with him in rulership. That's why he told, the disciples, you're going to sit at my table, So all Israel is going to be on point. All men will be priests, all our women, but the house of David is going to be as God. Meaning they're going to have a certain authority on a whole nother level under Yahweh Shai, who is the angel of the Lord that's going to be before us. So, yeah, bro. We got a lot coming. The tabernacle of God is with men. When you read that in Revelation 21:3, and I heard the voice out of heaven saying, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people. God himself shall be with them and be their God. The laws is going to be us. And also 1 John 3 says what? 1 John into, but now are we the sons of God, and it does not appear what we shall be, but we know that when he shall appear, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. And every man that hath this hope in himself purifies himself even as he is pure. So we got a lot coming, bro. We gonna be, like next level, this government that's coming, kingdom of heaven, boy. Woo! So, I don't mind being a part of the large multitude because you make it, but man, to be a part of that governing body, brother, that 144, you got something special coming, bro. Judgment, right? You're gonna literally, the authority Yahushua has, you're gonna have that. He's gonna share that authority with you.
Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom.
All right. Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Makakodash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers, and peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the believers, the listeners who have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right, and what I want to get into this morning, all right, well, this morning news and prophecy, just going into some war updates and more, just going into the happenings, everything concerning prophecy, man, because as we've been, tasked, all right, to be watchmen unto the house of Israel. Okay, there's always, something, okay, that's happening real time that's related to prophecy. Okay, and we're seeing moves being made, the stage is being set, okay, for the MOTB system. Okay, these devils are steady pushing towards infrastructure for this digital, what they call DPI, digital public infrastructure, which is the infrastructure of the New World Order. Okay, the infrastructure that everyone is going to be linked to through this man's technology, and we're seeing the stage being set for this third world war. All nations are getting in position, to start this war for it to be, a full-out war, and we know, like I said, the MOTB has to be mandated before this war goes nuclear, okay? But that doesn't mean that the war, all right, is on pause, okay? Moves are being made to where when it's time to go, everything is already going to be in place. Okay, everything is already going to be in place, when the Most High, presses the button, okay, on this war. Okay, so we're seeing the stage being set dealing with that. And it's all the will of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Okay, now when you go to Zephaniah 3 and 8, and I want to read it in the let me go here. I want to read it in the AMP. Okay, so this is the book of Zephaniah, chapter 3, verse 8. It said, "Therefore, you of the godly remnant of Judah, patiently wait for me, declares the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai." Okay, and as we know, even concerning with Judah, okay, in which all the tribes will rally, around Judah. Okay, Judah will be raised up first in these latter days, the tents of Judah, Judah, Benjamin, Levi, the southern tribes, will come into this thing first, and then the northern tribes, okay, because that's the order, with Judah being the head tribe, okay, which, the prophecy concerning Judah is that how his brothers will praise him, okay, and out of Judah shall come Yahweh Shai, their lawgiver. You see, Shiloh, and to him shall be the gathering of the people. So the remnant will gather around Yahweh Shai, okay, which is of the tribe of Judah. Okay, so in these latter days, as the Lord has raised up the prophets to teach, Okay, because Yahweh Shah is the volume of the book. So as we teach this word, we're teaching Yahweh Shah. Okay, we're lifting the banner of Yahweh Shah, and the tribes, their remnant, is being gathered to that banner. It says, "Wait for me," declares the Lord Yahweh Bashim Shah. Wait for the day when I rise up as a witness against the nations. Okay, so this is why we're just tasked with teaching this word. You know, there's nowhere within the doctrine that tells us to be militant. Okay, it tells us to try to do a coup, take down the government, any of those things, man. You know, we have orders to stand down from a physical, militant, okay, operation against this devil. Okay, we've been given our marching orders to teach this word. Okay, and the Lord, He's the one that's going to rise up to the prey, which is these devils, these Edomites, man, and every heathen that's in conglomerate with this devil, man. Okay, it said, "For it is my decision," or His determination, and my right to gather the nations to assemble kingdoms. Yeah, it's Yahweh Shah's right, because the Lord, all right, the Heavenly Father has granted Yahweh Shah authority over everything. You go to Daniel 7:13. Yahweh Shah has dominion over everything. Okay, and it's an appointed time in which the Heavenly Father is going to send Yahweh Shah back to claim his dominion in the earth. That's why I said it's his right, okay, to gather the nations, because this is his world. Okay, so he's calling these nations together to wage war on them. That's the judgment. Okay, that's the judgment that has been decided in the heavens, and Yahweh Shah is coming to execute their judgment, man. Okay, Jeremiah 23 and 5. Okay, it said, "For it is my decision and my right to gather the nations, to assemble kingdoms, to pour out my indignation, all the heat of my burning anger. For in that day all the earth shall be consumed by the fire of my zeal." Okay, so the Lord's assembling nation to judge these nations, man, through war. Yahweh Shah is coming to wage war in righteousness, man. So what we're seeing, the moves that we're watching, is all the moves leading to these nations gathering to this war, so Yahweh Shah can come and judge, man, on behalf of the Father, man, because the decision already made. Now what we're seeing is the gathering. When Yahweh Shah comes, it's not going to be a discussion, okay? It's going to be an execution of judgment. You see, and it says the whole earth, which the whole earth is not going to be consumed with fire. Okay, the militaries of the earth going to be destroyed through fire, man. The fire from, all right, the chariots. You see, so that's why you can go here to Jeremiah, which links it back to um Jeremiah 23:5. Okay, this is Jeremiah 23:5. Say, "Behold, listen closely. The days are coming," says the Lord, "when I will raise up for David a righteous branch," and this righteous branch is Yahweh Shah. Okay, of their line of David, which David is what, of the line of Judah, and he will reign as king and act wisely, and he will do those things that accomplish justice and righteousness in the land. And his first order of business is to deliver and change his elect, or war his elect, because see, we gotta be in those chariots when Yahweh Shah start getting busy, man. The nukes start dropping, and Yahweh Shah getting busy with these heathens, man. We got to be on those chariots, man. So Yahweh Shah's first two orders of business is to deliver his elect. Okay, we're going to be changed. We're going to be in those chariots, and then he's going to proceed to judge these heathens, man. Okay, and we want to see this play out from their viewpoint. And even those that die in Yahweh Shah, they're not going to miss out on it. They're going to be right there. Okay, they're going to be on the chairs before anyone. You know, I always got to put that out, man, because this is the victory. To be on this chariot when Yahweh Shah judging these heathens, man, that's the victory. And death don't separate the elect from that victory, man. Okay, just to put that out. Now, uh, let's go here. Get one more precept, and then we'll go into this video I got. So let's go here. Yeah, second Esdras. Let's go to second Esdras. So when you go to the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 20, it says, "Behold, said the Most High, I will call together all the kings of the earth to reverence me, which are from the rising of the sun from the south, from the east, and Lebanon, to turn themselves one against another." Okay, so the Lord is bringing these nations together for this war for it all. Because in the mind of these heathens, they think the winner of this third world war is going to be the leader of this new world order that these heathens are trying to establish. Man, it's all played together because the war, the reason these heathens are finna fight, man, is for a position in this new world order. So the new world order being established, the closer we get to this devil trying to establish this new world order, the closer we get to war. They go hand in hand. You can't separate the two. Okay? And when these devils mandate this device, this sea hill, well, they're opening the gates for the war to go nuclear anytime. And Yahweh try to come back at any time. Okay? And most of the earth is not expecting it to fall out like that. You see, people are going to be looking at, okay, the CHIP is mandated. They got this new infrastructure. We got this, social credit system, and got this new convenience that's being rolled out. Okay, not knowing that once this thing is mandated, this MOTB is mandated, then there's nothing else holding back nuclear war. Okay, so this is a very heavy time. All right, so verse 20, "Behold, said the Most High, will call together all the kings of the earth to reverence me, which are from the rising of the sun from the south, from the east, and Lebanon, to turn themselves one against another and repay the things that they have done to them." Okay, which is to the children of Israel, because all these nations are being held in contempt. Okay, for what's been done to Israel, because none of these nations, okay, have they haven't even made a complaint about what's been going on, okay, with these devils and how they've done, all right, the tribes, man, and what they continue to do to the tribes, man. Okay, and these nations are all in agreement to try to establish this new world order, which is a complete rebellion against the Most High, and all these nations have signed on to it, man. Okay, so these nations are guilty with Esau, man. Esau was just the most guilty because he's the ringleader, man. Okay, but going back into it, it says, "Behold, said the Most High, I will call together all the kings of the earth to reverence me," man. So the Most High is summoning these nations to this war. Okay, and they can't refuse. You see, because it's the Lord's will. All right, so this is what we're seeing, playing out real time. Okay, this is what's happening real time, man. We're here. You see, so let's go here because we went into a lesson the other day, going to how China has shipped its biggest shipment to Iran. The biggest arms shipment that they've ever sent. All right, to Iran. Well, Russia has just made a power move as well. Okay, they have sent missiles capable of shipping. Russia has now, there's the rumors, speculation. Okay, but it lines up with prophecy, man. I wouldn't doubt it. Okay, but they have different sources saying that now Russia is sending what they call ship killer systems to sink those American aircraft carriers, man, and those Navy destroyer ships. Okay, which that would make sense if they want to protect, Iran from, America, man. Okay, and remember, this is for America. The small hats, they gonna be light work. Okay, all this preparation, all these arms that's coming to Iran, this mainly for America, man. Okay, they gonna overwhelm the small hats. And the small hats got the power, to do a major strike and cause infliction. Okay, but they ain't ready for no retaliation from Iran, no real retaliation. Okay, but we're seeing this military hardware being moved to Iran to be anti-America, because they know America power comes from their aircraft carrier, those Navy destroyer ships. Okay, that's one of the strong points of America's military. But the Lord got these nations to where they have hardware to combat that. See, the Lord is doing this. The Lord is raising up a Magog, okay, chief prince. You see, we went into the role of a chief prince. Okay, so we see Russia playing this part in prophecy, man. Okay, so let's play this. The latest dealing with Russia and Iran, which their alliance, grows closer every day. And what them small heads did in Venezuela made Iran, okay, well, America, what the West did in Venezuela made Iran more valuable to, okay, Russia and China. Okay, so for energy security, So let's play this.
Trump is moving his aircraft carriers toward the Gulf, and Netanyahu has raised the Iron Dome to its highest alert level, as if something is being quietly rearranged behind the scenes. Meanwhile, on the other side, Iran's coastlines are drowning in deception. Russian experts are inside fortified facilities. Naval missiles are being transported through sealed military routes, and underground sites are being reactivated without a sound. Everything points to a new Russian missile system being a nightmare that Iran has never officially confirmed receiving, yet it's present in every single calculation inside Washington. So what is this system capable of sinking Trump's most powerful naval assets? Has it already arrived on Iranian soil? There's much to uncover in this episode. Stay with us.
Hello, my name is Adam Ferrari, the Chief Executive Officer of Phoenix Energy. I look forward to you joining us.
Come on now. God damn.
Behind the scenes. Meanwhile, on the other side, Iran's coastlines are drowning in deception. Russian experts are inside fortified facilities. Naval missiles are being transported through sealed military routes, and underground sites are being reactivated without a sound. Everything points to a new Russian missile system being quietly deployed, a maritime nightmare that Iran has never officially confirmed receiving, yet it's present in every single calculation inside Washington. So what is this system capable of sinking Trump's most powerful naval assets? Has it already arrived on Iranian soil? There's much to uncover in this episode. Stay with us. Although Iran has not officially acknowledged its arrival, the Russian coastal defense system P-800 Bastion has effectively become a reality, planted along the shoreline, fully armed and ready to strike. This is confirmed by multiple overlapping intelligence and media reports, including a Reuters article from March 2025, which revealed the arrival of Russian missile experts at fortified Iranian military locations. Other reports spoke of Yakon missiles being transferred through covered channels, as well as the reactivation of underground facilities tied to Iran's coastal missile infrastructure. Western diplomatic sources further revealed that these movements coincide with the Strategic Cooperation Treaty signed between Moscow and Tehran in January 2025, a treaty later interpreted as the political cover for the transfer of Russian naval missile technologies to Iran, including systems like Onyx and Bastion. The facts on the ground are clear. The system has been deployed, concealed within the terrain, and made fully operational coinciding precisely with the deployment of the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower CVN-69 to the Gulf. This prompted U.S. military assessments to designate certain Iranian coastal sites as red zones due to the potential threat of supersonic cruise missile launches from those locations. But even more dangerous than the Passion system itself is the missile it carries. The P-800 Onyx, or Yak Hunt, in its export version, is no ordinary cruise missile. It's a highly intelligent offensive weapon designed to rip large warships out of the sea with supersonic speed and pinpoint accuracy that leaves no room for survival. It was developed as the successor to the Soviet Musket missile, but is far more than just an upgrade. It's a generational leap forward, especially in its ability to operate in coordinated swarms, using silent radar synchronization and pack attack logic. Structurally, the missile measures 8.6 meters in length, 700 millimeters in diameter, and weighs around 3,000 kilograms at launch. Its body features a stealth-optimized design that reduces radar visibility, coated with infrared absorbent material to minimize thermal detection, making it extremely hard to track even for US systems like Aegis or the SM-6. It uses a hybrid propulsion system. The first stage is a solid fuel booster, which detaches after launch and ignites a powerful ramjet engine capable of sustaining speeds up to Mach 2.5, which is over 3,000 kilometers per hour, all the way to the target. This cuts down enemy reaction time to under 30 seconds in certain scenarios. The guidance system is sophisticated and precise. Initially, the missile follows an inertial navigation system before activating its internal active radar seeker in the terminal phase, allowing it to lock onto its target even in the presence of heavy jamming or decoys. In its Russian configurations, the seeker head is so advanced it can distinguish between naval vessels and automatically prioritize high-value targets, choosing, for example, an aircraft carrier over escorting destroyers. What truly sets Onyx apart, however, is its group intelligence system. In coordinated launches, a set of missiles can operate as a team. One acts as the leader, broadcasting tracking data, while the others fly silently with no radar emissions, minimizing their signature. If the lead missile is shot down, command seamlessly transfers to another, ensuring the attack continues without disruption. Its warhead is a high explosive penetrator, weighing between 200 and 250 kilograms, engineered to breach the carrier's deck and reach lower levels before detonating. This could
Yeah, man, and not to be too nerdy, because I can watch this type of stuff all day. But so yeah, this weapon, is gonna be a major neutralizer, all right, to American Navy, which is one of America's strengths. All right. And also you got to factor in if America is not allowed, to use those Gulf air okay air zones and air and military bases, okay, if they're not able to access, those airstrips in these Gulf air states, and they can only do airstrikes from the aircraft carrier, that's going to be a major problem because now with this, if this is in place, okay, which Iran is keeping a real hush, but if this is in place, what this does, because it said it know how to prioritize the aircraft carrier itself, because you have those Navy destroyer carriers, that escort those carriers, because the carriers is the most valuable Navy asset because it's a floating airport. Okay, it's a floating air base. It's a mobile air base. All right, and that's why America. That's one of the main ways America is able to project its power throughout the earth because it just has all these floating air bases just floating around in the seas, okay, in the oceans, okay. But they have to get so close to be able to do airstrikes on certain places. Now, if you don't have anything that can sink an aircraft carrier, then America just can have a field day. Them jets can just come. Them jets can just take off them aircraft carriers, go do strikes, okay, come back, and while this group come back, the next group can take off, okay, and this group coming back can come and get reloaded. So by the time the nether group come back, was the next group can go fully loaded, and they can just do that, you know, for a while, you know, until they exhaust, you know, all right, their stockpile is on their carrier. Well, with this and the way the warhead designed, it's designed to penetrate all the way through the aircraft carrier through the deck, all right, and detonate at the bottom, okay, which is going to sink, which would sink an aircraft carrier, man. Okay, now all this is theory because these things have never been combat tested, but we gonna see. But the point is, all these things are being put in place, man, for war. You see, the war gonna be conventional, then it's gonna go nuclear. Okay, especially when these nations, because both sides gonna be losing major assets in this war, and it's gonna get to the point to where it gotta go nuclear, man. Okay, because they're gonna be destroying each other's assets on both sides. Okay, so this is just another phase. This is just another piece that's being put in place, okay, for the Lord to fulfill his will, all right, with these nations in this third world's war, you know. But I'll put this in the comment, you know, but a few minutes left on, but the point was there, you know, just to describe this weaponry, okay, there's Russia, which, let's go here. Let's paste it. I'll paste the rest. Yeah, so I just posted, you know, brothers want to, you know, tap into the next few minutes of that, you know, or, you know, kind of follow these channels, you know, to kind of get into the actual weaponry, you know, of the different militaries, you know. But so let's go from there. I want to get this precept, and then we'll segue back over here to what's happening in America. But let's go here with this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50, in verse 9. It said, "For behold, I will stir up and bring up against Babylon the assembly of great nations from the north country." All right. And this assembly of nations is headed by Russia. Okay, their chief prince. Okay, and nation of Russia is doing exactly what the Lord, all right, prophesied that Magog will be doing, is being a guard to these nations, man. Okay. So this gonna be interesting, man. When these nations finally lock up, okay, it's gonna be some interesting exchanges, man. And I look forward to seeing it, you know, being able to follow, you know, when these nations lock up all this hardware, you know, that they, you know, both sides been boasting about. Well, it's only one way to see, okay, and the Lord is putting everything in place. So when it's time for this war, everything will already be in place. Okay, ain't gonna be no scrambling. It's gonna be in place, man. Things are gonna go quick. It's gonna be fast paced, man. Okay. This war is gonna be fought with flame and fuel and fire. Okay, as the scriptures say. And it says, "For behold, I will stir up and bring up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, Russia and its allies. They will equip themselves and set up the battle lines against her." So we're seeing these nations being equipped and set up battle lines against America, man, against Babylon. See, this is for Babylon. All this hardware for Babylon. Okay? And small hands, they done. You see? They gonna, like I say, Russia and Iran, they gonna flatten. Okay. You see, that's gonna be that iron, talking about the Iron Dome is back activated. Nigga, it don't work. Okay? Yes, the Iron Dome work when you fighting, you know, these little proxy groups and they just shooting rocket launchers. Okay, the Iron Dome looks great. It's great then. Okay, it works stupendous. But against what these kings of the East is bringing out now, the Iron Dome is irrelevant. Okay, you might well say your energy don't even turn it on. Okay? The Iron Dome is going to be irrelevant. Okay? When them kings of the East really send them major strike packages over there, over with. Okay? And it says, Jeremiah 50:9, it says, for behold, I will stir up and bring up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country. They will equip themselves and set up battle lines against her, for there she will be taken captive. Their arrows will be like an expert warrior who will not return empty-handed. Okay, so these these arrows, these missiles, okay, will be like what expert warriors, man, of an expert mighty man. Okay, and as you can see, the Lord has tapped into, because Russia got a lot of those Teamanite scientists too after World War II. They got more than America. Okay, and you best believe, there's elites in the background that's funding Russia. Okay, and then technology is trickling down to Iran. Then Iran, they come up with a lot of their own technology, man. They not trying to kill these Iranian scientists for nothing, man. Okay, these Iranian scientists, okay, ain't targets by the small hats in America for nothing. Okay, them Iranian scientists, hey, they cooking in the lab, man. They in there cooking up some shit. You see, they ain't on low level, all right? Like the West will push. Okay, you think Iran just over there? You think camels and sandals? All right, you see, you're gonna be terribly misinformed. So let's go from there, because as we see, with this whole ICE thing, as they started off, terrorizing, okay, the northern tribes. Okay, everybody was laughing, kikiing, you see. But now they made their way to what? The southern kingdom, through these inner cities, the violence of the inner city, there was they, narratives to begin to terrorize the southern kingdom. Okay, and now, all right, as of late, they so-called unalive this, this Edomite woman, all right, Renee Good. Okay, as we went into that word Renee, it goes into a spiritual transformation, a new birth. Okay, because they know that they have to, birth their new enterprise, this new world order. Okay, they know they're gonna have to enforce it with the sword. Okay, so there's a war waged on the American population by their government. Okay, there's a war being waged, and especially against the tribes. Now, another narrative that they're using to come at the southern kingdom is now these Somalians. Okay, now the Somalians are a problem that has to be dealt with through force. You see, so-called Somalian daycares, okay, are the top of national security for American, okay, federal law enforcement is Somalian daycare scams. Okay, and all it does is just put another black face in the spotlight, okay, of criminality, man. Okay, so they have something called the catch of the day. This is the latest ICE operation called the catch of the day, and they're going around in Maine, okay, rounding up Somalians, man. You see, and it's just nothing but another psyops, okay, to criminalize dark skin, okay, American citizens, and just to get you people desensitized to federal law enforcement brutality, man. Okay, so let's play this.
.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman with Nermeen Sheikh.
We turn now to Maine, where immigration agents have launched a new enforcement surge dubbed Operation Catch a Day. ICE Deputy Assistant Patricia Hine, Fox News, they're targeting some 100 people and have arrested at least 50 so far. Reports of ICE activity have been concentrated in the greater Portland area and the city of Lewiston, Maine's second largest city. Both cities have significant Somali populations. School officials in Portland report attendance is down overall by as much as 20% in some schools. This is Portland Mayor Mark Dion speaking Wednesday.
Our communities feel anxious and fearful. They see this action as unpredictable and a threat to their families. Collectively and individually, we've done everything we can to assure them and that we believe in their right to be safe. And we've tried to direct resources their way.
Homeland Security Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin accused Maine officials to Lewis. We're joined by Safia Khalid, former city council member in Lewiston, Maine, who became the first Somali American to hold that role when she was elected in 2019. She now leads an advocacy group called Community Organizing Alliance, which is responding on the ground right now to the ICE surge. Safia, welcome to Democracy Now! It's great to have you with us. Can you talk about what ICE is calling, I mean, the horror of playing on the seafood industry of Maine, Operation Catch of the Day? What's happening?
Yes. Hi, good morning. Thank you so much for having me. You know, the operation name that they're using is really dehumanizing. It is creating fear and intimidation among our communities. Parents have not been able to pick up their kids from school. They have not been able to go grocery shopping. The streets are completely empty. Downtown Lewiston is completely empty, especially our Lisbon Street, which is our main street area. No one is going to the stores. Restaurants are closed because people are really in fear, and we are urging people to stay home and do not open the door to anyone who they do not know.
And Safia, if you could talk about, for people who aren't familiar with the demographics of Maine, and in particular Lewiston, who's being most directly targeted?
Yeah, you know, Lewiston is home to a large population of naturalized Somali Americans, and you know, like Minneapolis in the Twin Cities, he is targeting Somali Americans, but they're also targeting the larger immigrant population here in the Lewiston urban area, in the greater Portland area.
And have you heard directly from people who have been targeted? Have you been speaking to people on the ground?
Yes, we are on the ground helping folks. Yesterday, I was, you know, parents called me to get their kids from school because one parent, for example, an ICE agent knocked her door. They're going door to door here in Lewiston, of course, in other parts of the state. But when she opened the door, they said that they were police officers. They didn't identify themselves as a federal agents. They didn't identify themselves as ICE agents. They also had plain clothes too. So they're disguising themselves as regular police officers. And when she opened the door, they immediately arrested her, right? This is an older Somali woman. They arrested her in front of her kids, didn't even let her get her jacket or prepare for anything, and put her in a vehicle and drove away. There's also another woman who was kidnapped from her home. They knocked the door as well. She looked through the window. She didn't see anyone. And then she peeked, she opened the door just a little bit, but they were hiding somewhere, and they immediately grabbed her and took her away. One woman was brought back to her home, but the other woman, we're still looking for her.
A growing number of U.S. citizens have been swept up by ICE as they surge enforcement around the country. I wanted to go to this Somali American from St. Paul, Minnesota, who says she was called a racial slur by an ICE agent before being pushed to the ground. This is Nasra Ahmed, a U.S.-born citizen with no criminal record, detained for 2 days by ICE.
I am proud to say that I've survived ICE. We were both crying together. We were holding each other tight. And I'll never forget like the fear that we both felt in our hearts that day.
Terrible acting, man. You know, these 2 band-aids, you know, terrible, man. All right. And it's all just staging a narrative, you know, to firstly desensitize, you know, the dark skinned face. Okay. You know, because these devils are just setting the stage. You know, they haven't fully unloaded. What they're doing now is just setting the stage, and they're gradually making these things the norm. Okay, people being brutalized by federal agents, man, especially faces like this. Okay, because this is no different than Keisha. When Edomites see this, they see Keisha. There's no different. There's no separation. All right, Esau gonna see Somalian. You know, these ICE agents and these everyday Edomites and these militias and mercenaries. They don't see Somalian, Nigerian. They see niggas. Okay, there ain't no difference. You see. And this is being done on purpose, man. Okay.
She still has bandages on her forehead. And I wanted to ask you.
Yeah, that's enough of that, man. But yeah, so just that narrative, man, just peeping, you know, the devil narratives. Okay. Because we understand, you know, before this devil makes his move, okay, he puts their propaganda on repeat. You know, as we always go into, we're not ignorant of Satan's devices, man. You know, so this is how the devil gets down. You know, he pushes propaganda and narrative, then he goes with his move. Okay, so we're just seeing prophecy gearing up, okay, all throughout the earth, man, from international level, you know, to domestically here in America, you know, so from moves of war, okay, until, you know, these domestic civil unrest. All right, this devil is at work, he's in play, okay, and we was told about these things from the beginning. Okay, matter of fact, let's go here. Let's go here to Second Esdras. So let's go here to the book of Second Esdras, chapter 9, and we read verse 1 on down. So this the book of Second Esdras, chapter 9 and verse 1. He says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, okay, then shalt thou understand that at the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Okay, so we're seeing the earth being prepared for their ultimate visitation, and how the Most High going to visit the world through his son Yahushua. Okay, Yahushua is going to visit the world with judgment on behalf of the Father. Okay, that's why Yahushua said he's coming with the glory of the Father, his own glory, and that of the holy angels, because the angels are going to be with him. Okay, and it's all an extension of the glory of the Father. You see? So we're measuring the time diligently. Okay, that means that we're looking into what's happening in real time and measuring up to the scriptures, man, to see where we at, man. Okay, and the Lord is putting everything in place for prophecy to be fulfilled quickly. Okay, because the build up to prophecy, okay, is the long part. Okay, the actual execution of prophecy gonna be quick. Okay, like the brothers, Elder Require Quam, you know, Elder Brother Ariala out in Dallas, they went into how, you know, the infrastructure for the MOTB, you know, has been decades in the making, but it's only going to take a 5-minute announcement to make the CHIP mandatory. Okay, so what we're seeing, you know, is the buildup. All right, and when everything is in place, is that why scripture say, though they tarry, it shall not tarry. You know, because as we're watching, see, and the Lord gave us, you know, these faith boosters to see these things build up. Okay, But if you're not in tune with prophecy, you'll look at it like nothing happening. Nah, prophecy is in progress, man. Moves are being made to fulfill prophecy. Okay, this is what we're seeing. All right. So when you go to verse 3, it says, therefore, when there shall be earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of these things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Okay. So everything, we read the scriptures because we went into the other day. Nuclear destruction is in Deuteronomy, the 32 chapter. Deuteronomy 32. Okay, speaks of nuclear destruction. Speaks of those swords. It's going to be bathed in blood. Talking about the nukes, man. The slaughter of the nukes. Okay. So these things that have been spoken of from the beginning, Yahweh Shai, his second coming, that's in Numbers. Okay. His king shall be higher than Agag, which Agag was what? King of Amalek. Who's in power? Okay, because Edom is the nation that's in power, but amongst the nation of Edom, you have Amalek. Okay, who's at the forefront of this kingdom? Who runs the earth? Amalek runs the earth, man. Okay, the branch of Edom that runs the earth is Amalek, man. They have all the high positions in the earth. Okay, but in Numbers it says how the throne of Yahweh Shai is going to be higher than Agag. You see, and how is that going to be executed? Where it's going to be through war. How is that going to be accomplished? It's going to be through war. Yahweh Shai is going to come wage on this society ran by Amalek, man. Okay? It said, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of all these things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world had a beginning and end, and the end is manifest, man. Okay, so there's no doubt, where we stand when it comes to prophecy. Okay, there's no doubt of where we at. Okay, we're right here at the doorsteps of all these things are being fulfilled in the moment. Because when that MOTB is mandated, things are going to go into hyperdrive, man. Okay, the Lord is going to end this, man, quickly. You see? So that's the point. Just want to get into that this morning. Lord will. You brothers, all right, and you sisters edify once again, and give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rakapadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders, GMS, who rule well, teach well, being great examples to us younger brothers, and peace and blessing salutations, hopefully, shalom.